ever expanding light of God. You are here walking on this earth plane with that remembering coming to you daily with every truth that you accept of love. The light within you expands. It's a natural expansion. Love is constantly expanding. It's in this acceptance of this expansion and this light that you are. You are dropping into the natural state. In the journey of healing, the journey of remembering, the unraveling of the made-up self, the little self, can feel and can be experienced as radical or seemingly upside down. And there may be times when you can't tell up from down. And in those awarenesses of either expanding or not being able to tell if something is up or down, or even experiencing a confusion that you've never experienced before, it's to recognize that there is never anything to worry about. That healing is completely orchestrated in the wisdom and universal intelligence of God. And through the blessings of healing, everything is perfectly still in balance. And if you can rest in the sidecar as things unfold and unravel and seem upside down sometimes and confusing sometimes, part of the healing is that you are going deeper and deeper into a trust that and faith that you haven't recognized in yourself before. That deeper place of faith and trust is necessary for the spiritual journey. Even though returning home and healing is natural, to the ego identity, it's 100 times more bizarre than being put in a spaceship and sent to another planet. It's that mind shattering. And thank God that it's like going to another planet, because you're leaving behind an identity of pain and suffering and the belief of limitation and the belief of death for the garden of love, of peace and harmony and joy that you truly are, the light that you truly are. It's an amazing thing in healing when beloveds, which probably everybody does the same thing in one way or the other, that there's actually so much fear of the unraveling that there can be so much resistance to the shedding of pain and suffering. But somewhere in the spiritual journey, every beloved comes to realize, what am I fighting? What am I resisting? And the journey becomes joyous, even though there's still unraveling and upside downness. It's welcomed more deeply. And the joy within starts to become what you are used to, rather than something that seems strange and odd. You are that joy. You are the joy. You are the harmony. You are peace. You are truth. You are love. And nothing in the temporary identity can even touch that truth that you truly are. To realize that at a place soon, when the thought comes to you, is what I'm thinking a thought that God would think? It becomes so clear. No, I only want to think the thoughts that God would think. Let me enter into that skin, that oneness, and think only the thoughts of love. Because that's who you are and what you are. Every beloved's journey is very much for that beloved. Every beloved's journey is exclusive to that beloved. Some beloveds go in circles, running into themselves every once in a while. Some beloveds try to speed up time. There's all different kinds of journeys, and no one's journey can be in any way judged by anyone. And also not to judge your own journey of wanting things to be different instead of just what is right here for remembering. And if your prayer is, yes, yes, show me the way, yes, teach me the truth of love, then you can be in that sidecar and let God drive with the faith that it's guaranteed. remembering is guaranteed. And the spirit of love is using time in its most helpful way for each beloved, and trusting in that, trusting in the divine wisdom of creation, and putting all of your devotion, all your yes, and all your willingness into the hands of God. And the blessings, the grace of God will be with you all the way in every moment of the journey. I used to remember I'd be out walking and all of a sudden this fear would come over me and sense of impending doom and I would not stop walking, but I would stop somehow within. And I would remember in that moment, or grace remembered for me, and the declaration was always, "Oh, I don't have to worry. I've given my life to God. I've said yes." And the whole universe supports that. And the faith would come back and the fear would disappear. And to keep remembering that when you've said yes, I'm willing to heal, I'm willing to remember, the grace of God surrounds you. And everything is being perfectly orchestrated. And you don't have to worry about what to say or what to do, because love will direct you. You're never without. And it is perfectly orchestrated. The power of God does not need a roadmap for your journey. The wisdom, the power of God is completely aware of what is most helpful for you. And love will lead the way constantly. So in this moment of love, it's to check in all the time, every day, all during the day, to check in and say, do I have a happy heart because I'm being led and taken on the path of love? Let me come back to a happy heart. I say that because it is not the ego's intention in any way for you to remember happiness. The happy heart is part of love. And the ego does not recognize a happy heart. But all of heaven recognizes a happy heart and serves that heart. But the happy heart is extremely essential, because the happy heart says, I'm happy to be on this journey. I'm happy that this lifetime I'm remembering. This lifetime is where freedom is. And the heart sings in that recognition. Beloveds who are walking the journey of love have everything to be happy about. Everything of reality to be happy about. Thank God. That used to be my prayer. Thank God I wasn't right. Thank God there was another life that was not the one of the past. Thank God I wasn't right. So let your heart be happy that you weren't right. That love is real. Oneness is all that there is. And peace is natural. Thank God. So in this moment, just focus your attention on your heart. Just bringing a smile to your heart of the happiness that is here right now. And in that happiness, affirming that there is one presence, and that is the life force of God. And it's right here, right now, within each beloved. And within this life force, we live and move and breathe as the light of God. This moment, all love. This prayer is to call to the Divine Mother and really ask to learn. When asking to learn, it's really a place of humility that just says, I don't know. I don't know, but I'm saying yes. Teach me. Teach me how to love. Teach me the truth of love. And in that request, all love is revealed. Mother, oh my mother, please come here, please, to teach this child of yours, to teach this child of yours, who doesn't yet know how to love, who doesn't yet know how to love. Mother, Queen Mother, I ask with all my heart, please send your angels, please send your angels to teach me how to love, to teach me how to love. The power of your prayer can separate an ocean. The power of your prayer can heal everything in your willingness to heal. Oh, my Holy Mother, here are your children struggling in this world of illusion. Oh, my Holy Mother, Mother of the heart, we give you the fears and the realization of not knowing how to love. Oh, my Holy Mother, Mother of the stars in the sky, here are your children learning to live beyond themselves. Oh, my Holy Mother, forgive my heart. Forgive with all of love the smallness of my vision. Oh, my Holy Mother, forgive with all love. Forgive me for impeding the paths of other beloveds. Oh, my Holy Mother, I beg in my heart to lead the way and free us from these chains. Oh, my Holy Mother, I ask for help. Raise up my mind to receive the sacred truth of God. To many, it seems foreign to pray. It seems odd or awkward. And there is a certain element of unfamiliar that many times brings hesitation on praying. But prayer actually opens the heart and opens you to the connection with the strength of the universe, the strength of all divine beings. And to humbly ask for help to forgive the smallness of vision. That is a place of not self-deprivation, but saying, I'm willing to see where I have placed limitations, where I have judged and held my rules of things. Help me to go beyond the small vision into the expansion of love. And the Divine Mother, which is the divine feminine of God, it's an aspect of God that comes to offer comfort and comes to offer gentleness. Because in the compassion of the Divine Mother, there is the complete awareness of the pain and suffering that humanity so heavily believes in. And her intention is to bring comfort. The comfort that is accepted as, this is not the truth. This is not the truth of humanity. This is not the truth of any beloved, to be in the belief of death and the belief of pain and suffering. And she is willing to take it, to take every beloved's pain and suffering. But it has to be surrendered. It has to be actually be surrendered and disowned. Disowning the belief that death is real, disowning the belief that pain and suffering is legitimate, and really surrendering it. And it will always be healed, always. Someone untied your camel. I cannot sit still with humanity in chains. I cannot act mute, hearing the world's loneliness crying near the beloved's heart. My love for God is such that I could dance with him tonight without you, but I would rather have you there. Is your caravan lost? It is, if you no longer weep from gratitude or happiness, or weep from being cut deep with the awareness of the extraordinary beauty that emanates from the most simple act and common object. My dear, is your caravan lost? It is, if you can no longer be kind to yourself and loving to those who must live with the sometimes difficult task of loving you. At least come to know that someone untied your camel last night, for I hear its gentle voice calling for God in the desert. At least come to know that Hafiz will always hold a lantern with galaxies blooming inside, and that I will always guide your soul to the divine warmth and exhilaration of our beloved's tent. Sometimes a whole week can go by and there can be an unrealization, and not having realized that you haven't felt that deep gratitude all week that is so healing and so normal. To really let that gratitude wash over you as a practice of the normal day. Or from being cut deep with the awareness of the extraordinary beauty that emanates from the most simple act and common object. This is the happy heart that's wanting to sing, that emanates from the most simple act and common object, and being able to see the beauty in everything. Just letting your heart be filled with what is always here, love. So what stops anyone from being in this love? Fear is the only thing. It always comes back to fear. It can look like many things, but it always comes back to fear. And fear is coming up in all different kinds of ways, to get attention. And it does come up in, it has 1,000 names. If it was just obvious fear, maybe we would be able to recognize it a little bit more easily and say, oh yeah, that's right, that's fear. But it comes in all these different costumes too. It comes in the costume of jealousy, it comes in the costume of greed, it comes in the costume of anger, it comes in the costume of envy, comes in the costume of competition. It just has all of these costumes, but it's all fear. There's a teaching that says the ego is always alert to perceived threat. It does not realize that it is totally insane. And that's actually the journey. The journey of love is actually partly the recognition that all of our thoughts and all of our ideas of competition or whatever it is, it's just really insane. There is a teaching that goes like this. You can apply it to anything. Let's say I had, many beloveds on Skype at the same time. And for some reason, I was called to call on one beloved on Skype, particularly over and over and over again, and not with the idea of anything, but just that it was a calling to do so. And everybody else on Skype was getting irritated and upset because this one person kept getting called on. I'm making this up completely, but in that, the upset of someone else reading or whatever, and the mind getting hooked in, what about me? And I want to read, and why do they always get to read? And that painful place, which is so kind of ordinary at times, is just all this pain, and completely doesn't have any purpose other than to separate. Because there isn't the awareness that when that one beloved is called on, it isn't taking anything away. That is everyone. That is you. That beloved that is playing the violin on a recording, and that you hear, you have a choice. It's either you're going to be jealous because they have this talent, and right away your mind, which mind would go there? The mind would go to, why don't I have a talent like that? Why did they get that talent and I didn't? Why did I get shortchanged? And then there's a bitterness in listening because it's coming through that filter of that fear. And there's an endless supply of those type of choices to be able to really accept that whoever is playing that instrument, it is you. It is. You can embrace the beauty of that music. It's yours. It's not being kept from anyone. It's love. And the beloved who's reciting is you. And the joy is the same. It doesn't matter which form it comes through at all. It's just love. Sometimes healing comes in a strange package. I saw this and experienced this pretty often. In some cases, like someone being chosen over and over again, and there's a reaction to it within, that sometimes God will redirect and say, from now on, it would be most helpful for you never to read and to learn to be joyous in the realization that your beloved is reading, and that holds the same joy, the same love, the same everything, whether you're actually reading or not reading. And what is eliminated is the pride and the arrogance that is running the fear of it should be me, when it's the gift of the recognition that this other beloved is you. There is no other. And to revel in the sweetness of whoever it is that's singing, speaking, playing an instrument, whatever it is, that they are you, and that each one's in their perfect place, and so are you. And there are deep teachings that will direct you to don't always give the front and center stage to someone else. And that can be then the learning, the humility that will serve very, very beautifully, because you might as well learn to love. And as the others are playing their instruments or singing or reciting or dancing or whatever it is that you can join within your heart, it's the opportunity of there's only one, truly. And there cannot be a separation. And the only thing that's in pain is the mind that thinks something is missing, or that somebody might be getting something that you're not getting. The perception of needs that are run by the ego so well. In love, that you can observe people usurping what you believe your needs are. And it's always going to be the opportunity of deeper healing. Always. I was given many lessons, but one of them was to, in receiving a hymn, a spiritual hymn, that I was not taking any ownership of it. And it was painful, because I wanted that hymn to prove my worth, to prove that I was seen by God somehow. And so the guidance was, until you're free of this attachment to ownership of it, you can't declare ownership. And the key of it all was whether I could watch someone else take credit for the hymn and claim it as their own and have no reaction to it, but to be happy that they were taking credit for it because that was going to help them. And to be free of the attachment of proving worth. And that was just one little gift. But that little gift took about a year before the tenacious ego would finally let go of all ideas that I needed credit for something. There is nothing that you ever need to take credit for. It just doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that you play small. It's just the realization that everything is in the glory of God, that everything is for the glory of God, for love, for helpfulness. And in that helpfulness, it all comes back. And your own heart is healed with it. How can you heal if you don't or aren't willing to see what's running? Just moment to moment to see what's running. It's not because you're going to beat yourself up or berate yourself or criticize. No, it's just so that it can be recognized as not helpful, disowned and given to God, and forgiven. When you have a thought of jealousy or envy or something like that, do you shove it away? Just shove it away so that it's like, I don't like that, I'm just going to shove it away. But instead, let it be seen, because it may have like a whole kite string attached to it of other ones, of other opinions and judgments. And if you bring it to the light, see it for what it is, and no longer want to judge in any way, and then you disown it. You give it to God, surrendering it, and celebrating in your happy heart that you're not tied to that belief or that judgment or whatever it is that you've given it to God, and you don't have to keep swimming around those beliefs, but to truly let them go, truly. Questioning's illusions is the first step in undoing them. And that's what I was just referring to, is questioning the illusions, whether it's judgment or just a feeling in the body that isn't peaceful, and just willing to bring it into the light and say, what am I believing in? And that quickly, everything can be healed. It's just turning it over. And if there is something to look at that needs a deeper illumination, the Holy Spirit will show it. Through inner vision and through your willingness, the Holy Spirit will show what's running. And the healing will manifest. Even in that, there's a happiness of letting them go. And there's a happiness in shining the light on the opinions and the judgments that are running. It's like going to a health spa and being given a gigantic cleanse that works really, really fully and well. And you leave lighter. Well, you can leave every day lighter by just questioning what's running and forgiving it and letting it be surrendered. God will take everything. My love for God is such that I could dance with him tonight without you, but I would rather have you there. Imagine that you would want to dance with God and not have you there. That would be that lovely place of jealousy and envy that would want God all to yourself, instead of the realization that love is so boundless and so filling the whole universe that there's a never-ending supply. And that without all the beloveds, it's not complete. It's only complete with humanity, with all beloveds who were ever within a body, all beloveds who have been waiting to return home. That I would rather have you there. The envy in the world is almost held as normal, to covet lifestyles, to covet what's owned, to covet talent, to covet intelligence, to covet body images. It's all pain. It's all painful. And it has no truth in God. You have everything. You are everything. There's absolutely nothing missing of truth within you. But to accept that is to first not covet anything. To go within and to really accept God's will for you is to accept that you are the light of God, that you are everything that is pure and holy in the universe. And all of the envy and jealousy and coveting that goes on could just fall away. This is the meaning of contentment. I am content to be wherever God calls me to be, knowing that God goes there with me. Contentment is not something that is known to the ego at all. It's a foreign place. It doesn't exist in the ego structure. Contentment is that everything in this moment is perfect. There's nothing needed, there's nothing wanted, there's nothing that's missing, there's nothing happening. It's just love. And that contentment is your peace. Just peace. There's nothing for you to have to do or change in this moment. You're perfect to just accept the perfection of all creation. There is no problem. And in the realization that there is no problem, the acceptance that I am content to be where God calls me to be. And to think the thoughts that God would have me think. And to sing what God would have me sing. Content in the stillness, all things quietly fall into place. That's the contentment, the peace. In the stillness, all things do fall into place. It's the mind that gets in the way. If the mind would stop its la-la-las, you would touch into that stillness and that contentment, because it's what's naturally there for you. In love, all conflicts are resolved because there are no conflicts. And that is the biggest leap. There are no conflicts. There is no problem, because you are not separate from God. You are one in the heart of God. And whether we're aware of it or not doesn't change it. It's still just that there's only love, and you are that love. The heart is quiet and the mind is at rest when all beliefs and conflicts are dropped. I will not interfere with the truth of love today. I will allow. Right now, allow that there is no conflict. And that you're ready to weep with gratitude at the extraordinary beauty that emanates from the most simple act and most common object. There's just love here. Nothing to do, nothing to have to battle with. Just love.